Good morning, I'm Chris Fox. Welcome to day 3 of the 21-day novel challenge to completion. Over the last few days, I have cranked out each of my word goals, so I've already gotten 10,000 down, and the goal is to add another 5,000 today. So if I can keep doing that, then I'm on target to finish this challenge in the time frame that I've set. Yay! So far, so good. I am also very, very excited about this plot. It is so much fun to be writing science fiction, so I am having a blast with this whole thing. Thank you so much to everyone who has sent me an email so far. There's been quite a few of them, more than I expected. And a lot of you are asking for one of two things. A plotting video that shows how I go from the idea of the book in my head to having the outline that we saw on day 0 is something that I will be working on. I'll probably prep that using book 2 as subject matter, so you guys can see how that works. The second request that you guys have will make it into these videos. A lot of people have asked about my schedule. So what does my day-to-day activities look like? What am I doing, from 5 a.m. when I wake up until I'm done with my words for the day? So I'm gonna outline that whole process for you and show you what I do. Consistency ultimately is key to getting a novel written. As you're seeing here, the reason why I'm managing to crank out these word counts is I consistently get my butt in that chair and I sit down and I write. So I'd be happy to explain more about that in future videos. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the Scrivener document as it was finished yesterday. Here's a look at the Scrivener document at the end of day 2. You can see that I've made some tweaks to chapter order. I also added a little bit more flesh to these, which we'll go over in just a moment here. And then I added one note to a previously written chapter. So our final chapter yesterday was report. And I made a note to add a character that won't show up until much, much later in the book here to sort of foreshadow that. Our first chapter today that I'm going to be working on is Suspicious. Then I'm going to finish up Act 1 with Change Course. And I say finish up Act 1 because this is the chapter where Captain Riker makes the definitive choice. He decides, you know what, I'm going to go against what orders I'm getting from the fleet command. I'm going to go ahead and pursue my own agenda. He's making that choice. So he's stepping through the first doorway. Then I'm into Act 2. I'm going to try and knock out at least the first 3 chapters. We have In-System, Away Party, and Tigress. Each one of these will probably grow a little bit, so I'm going to write as many as I can. It's going to be exactly the same thing you saw in the first 2 days, just working my way further into the plot. Now what you are going to see probably towards the end of this video and in future videos is the further into the book that I get, the more work I need to do on the chapters I have not written yet. So what I figure out today in this area is going to dictate what needs to happen in the rest of Act 2. So more and more chapters are going to start appearing here as I go through and figure out exactly how I'm approaching the latter half of the book. So I'll be happy to show you how I do that, but for now, it's time for me to dive into the first writing sprint. As you can see, it is 8:23 a.m., and I have yet to write a single word. So more on that a little bit later. Quite a few people have reached out to me about the 5K words per hour app they see me using here. A lot of people are asking, how can you use this on the Mac or on a PC? And the sad answer, guys, is that you can't. I really should have thought of this before introducing the app in these videos, but I was really only using it as a tool to track my own challenge. Yes, technically I do sell this app, but I was kind of pressured into releasing it and have not given it the love that it deserves. So the version that you're going to see in the iOS App Store, it's kind of buggy, it's limited, and it may not serve your purpose. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can certainly use it there. Now that I'm a full-time writer, will be putting more time into cleaning up this application and making it more useful. You'll see more tools that are added. And I will eventually release a Mac version, so that is on the horizon for this year, but not in the time frame, I guess, of this challenge. So if you are shadowing me, I don't recommend using this app. You can certainly download it for your iPhone if you want to go ahead and use it there, but you can find any stopwatch app. A Pomodoro timer will work great, and a spreadsheet. So again, don't let this hamper you. I'm sorry that I wasn't more clear about this up front, about what this app is and what it can do. Yeah, that's where we are. Okay, done at last. So I finished my 5th sprint. It is now 12:06 p.m. and I have done my words for the day. I'm just over 15,000 words at the end of day 3. We're at a little less than 5,000 today, closer to 4,700, which is just fine because I'm still over that total. I will work a little bit harder, I think, on words tomorrow, maybe try and get myself a buffer, so I might aim for a total of 21 or 22,000 words by tomorrow. I could continue to push today to get that buffer, but I think I'd like to tinker with the plot some more, both because I think that'll benefit me in the days to come, because I'll have a clearer idea of where this book is going, and also because a lot of you have requested to see exactly what it is that I'm doing in this outline process. So I'm going to do a bit more of showing you how I'm modifying the plot. I'm going to show you the Scrivener document itself so that you can see the changes that we've done today. And then it's on to day 4. Thank you so much for sticking with me in this journey. And if you have requests for things that I can work on, let me know. Okay, so let's take a look at what was accomplished today. So as you can see for the project, just over 15,000 words at the end of day 3, which means that we are on target. I am 16 words ahead of where I needed to be by now. Also notice that it's down to 15 hours until project completion. So one of the things that I love about this is it breaks writing a novel down into a very manageable process. You can see it's only going to take 20 to 25 hours for me from start to finish to crank out a full-length novel. And every day that I put out these words, this keeps dropping. So when we first started, it said 20. Here we are on day 3. It's already down to 15. And if you look at my overall stats, you can see that I had quite a few sprints today. So what I ended up doing is a lot of shorter sprints. The first one was a little over 1,000 words, and then every other one was super short. And I did that both because there were short chapters and because I had a lot of interruptions today. So on Wednesdays, I do a mastermind group, and that mastermind group goes from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. And I'm finding that that kind of interruption really changes the way I'm able to write words. So what I suspect that we will see is tomorrow and Friday, I'll put out more words, longer sprints, and I will be done much earlier. So instead of finishing at, let's say, noon, I'm hoping to be done with my writing by 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Let's take a look at the actual Scrivener document itself. So my first chapter today was Suspicious. You can see that that got done. Then we went to Change Course, which is the last of the files contained in Act 1. Then we are into In System, very short chapter, but fun to write. Away Party, a little bit longer, but definitely necessary. Company, Tigress, and then finally Recover Data Core. So this is one of the longer ones. And so I did 7 chapters today, and I will be able to probably add just as many tomorrow. I'm noticing that this whole second act doesn't have enough detail, so what I'm going to do after I finish this video is go through and break up those chapters a little bit more and kind of look at my overall plot arcs to make sure that I'm on target for these. So how I will do that is go through each of them. I'm just going to reread this document and say, okay, is my Void Wraith plot arc coming along at this point? How about the Admiralty? How about the human versus Tigress and the missing people? Are these things being tackled in the correct way, or am I missing scenes, foundational scenes that should already have been added to the plot? And so I may even drop some into the previous area where they haven't been written yet, but I've put placeholders for those scenes. So you're going to look at that in tomorrow's document, and you can kind of see what it is that I've done this afternoon to make those changes. Anyway, that draws day 3 to a close. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and wish me luck.